belief is just a thought that you continuously think over and over and over again until it literally becomes a program in your mind that is a blueprint for your life. Because it is the chronic thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that we have day in, day out that literally create our reality. So if you have thoughts and feelings and beliefs that are running through your mind on a consistent basis that do not serve you, that aren't in alignment with your higher inner being's perspective, then you've got a blueprint that is playing out different faces, different places, but the same theme playing out over and over again that you may not prefer, that you have the ability to change. For example, people that end up in toxic relationships time and time again, that's not because that's all that's out there. That's not because that's all they deserve. It's because that's all that they have been focused on, and that is all that they believe. So if you want to adopt a different belief system, and if you want to create a different reality for yourself, it starts with the way that you think. And it starts by believing first and foremost that you have the ability to change the way that you think, and that you have the ability to create a life that you want. I remember when I first started this journey, I first had to realize that this is possible. That it is possible to create something different for myself, for me to attract something different for myself. For me, I was struggling with eating disorder thoughts and, body image issues, and it had been such a predominant part of my life for so long that I did not believe completely yet that it was possible for it to change, until I decided one day when somebody told me that it was incurable. That just pissed me off. I was like, no, I refuse to accept that. I refuse to believe that this is incurable. I am not going to let this dominate my thought life for the rest of my life, because it was like 80 to 90% of my thought life was about how I looked and how other people perceived me, because I had such a low self-esteem about myself that I needed other people to validate me. And so I decided, I was like, no, I refuse to accept that belief for myself. And it was just that one declaration that I made, I don't even know, like 10 years ago. And I was like, no, I don't want that to be my truth. And that's where it starts. You need to decide what you want to make your truth, because you are the one creating your reality through your mind. And you have the ability to choose something different, and it may not happen overnight, because Rome wasn't built in a day. My mind was a minefield of terror and sadness and negative emotions, and just, it was grief. It was awful. And now my mind is a city of gold, full of beautiful thoughts about myself and the world and all the wonderful possibilities that are available to me. And I created that beautiful city in my mind. I did that through my conscious thought, my conscious deliberate thought. I didn't just wait for those thoughts to come into my mind. I went and found them, and I was like, yes, I like the way that thought feels. I like the way that thought feels. And I started slowly, one by one, collecting all these beautiful thoughts about myself and about the universe and about how powerful I am. And then I started to mold and create a reality that I now adore. I love my life now, and I love the way that I look and who I am, and I don't see anywhere near as many flaws in myself as I did when I was younger. I now accept completely who I am, and I rarely have days where I hate myself. And my thought life is free. I used to think about other people's perspectives of me day in, day out, all the time. And now I have creative space to think about music and singing and songwriting and creating these videos for you guys. And there's so many other things that I want to do in this life. I love art, and I love moving my body, and I love being out in nature, and all these wonderful experiences that I'm calling into myself. And I'm only doing that now because I have created space in my mind, and I tore down the strongholds in my mind. It was like a city of darkness, and I just, one by one, I knocked over those buildings, and I replaced them and built them up with buildings made of gold and emerald and rubies and all these beautiful gems. Like, it is just a beautiful city in my mind. I would stand at sunrise, and I listen to this gorgeous music, and I just cry because I am so happy with the thoughts that I have about myself and about this world and about this life. And it did not start off that way. And I just want you guys to know that it is absolutely, completely, 100% possible for you to do the same for yourself. yourself, and you do not have to live your life just being a slave to your mind and to those negative thoughts and beliefs. They do not have to run your life forever. You have the ability to change them, and it first starts by identifying those beliefs and making them nonsensical. As soon as you make a belief nonsensical, it loses its power over you. It no longer has the ability to control you as soon as you can see it for what it is. For me, it was realizing that these thoughts in my mind that I wasn't good enough were lies. They were not my thoughts. They were just thoughts that were floating around that I decided to listen to and give my attention to and give emotion to. And then I started to be a slave to these thoughts and emotions. But then I decided, no, I don't want to accept that anymore. I refuse to make that my truth. And you have the ability to do that too. Any single thought that you have about yourself that you don't prefer, you can change it. It just takes some focus. It takes a little bit of dedication, but it's not as hard as it seems. And just stick with it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't happen overnight. Anytime that you challenge a belief and a thought in your mind, you are going in the right direction, and it is never ever a waste of time. Because the alternative is that you let it run rampant in your mind, and it's like a weed. It'll just grow and it'll take over all of this beautiful garden in your mind. So you need to rip out the weeds, and you need to plant seeds of beautiful flowers that will blossom one day, and you need to tend to the garden of your mind. That is where you live. People love to renovate their houses. Well, renovate the house that you actually live in, day out, whether somebody's around you or not. That is your mind. Your mind is the most important thing to tend to in this entire universe, because it is from that point that you perceive everything, and you create from here, and you create from here. So if you are not paying attention to your thoughts, and you are just letting yourself think these negative thoughts about yourself, you need to take a hold of your mind, and you need to get creative control, and just know that it is completely and utterly possible for you to do that today. And if you need any help with this, I do offer one-on-one spiritual guidance coaching. So my email is in my bio, and I will leave it in the description of this video. But you have the ability to change your reality just through your thoughts. All it takes is just a little bit of focus and a little bit of trust in the divine timing and the divine universe, and know that you are worthy and loved and valuable, and you are so damn powerful.